together, we die together. Bad boys for life. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Gang first, last. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Brews and Reviews with Mick and Pat. I'm Mick.
And I'm Pat.
And each week we sit down with you degenerates to pretend we're certified cicerones and cinephiles.
That's right. So grab a cold one and join us as we review Odell's Friek Raspberry Cherry Sour and review the movie Morbius.
And if you have been with us before, you know what time it is.
Release the Kraken!
We're foaming.
That might be one that the Foley artist has to correct later on.
I opened typically we have cans on the show. Today we have bottles. And that
was a Mick mistake.
Yeah, I tried to open mine with a screwdriver.
Actually, we should coin it. That was a Mick up. Yeah, you know, I was rushing. We try to have a beer that is rather applicable to the movie or the show we're going over. And I knew there was like some kind of blood orange beer I had seen, but it just wasn't there. So I was looking for anything kind of spooky or bloody or whatever. There was like a Bloody Mary in a can. And I was like, no. And then I saw this one, Friek. And it's a raspberry cherry sour. It's very red hued beer. So there's like, I think, an amberish to it, but yeah, open your mouth. Let me see inside your mouth. Oh, okay. That doesn't work, Pat. But anyways, I grabbed it and I didn't think that since it's bottled, we have to figure out how to get a good bottle opening into the mic, unlike our cans. So my bad, guys.
It's all right.
Pat, what color is it? Okay, tell me what color it is.
Pink. We got pink. I'd say it matches the label pretty closely.
Get the oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Swish around.
Roll it around in there.
Yeah.
The
Pat, how do you in general feel about sour beers?
I like some. I could leave a lot and I could take some. And usually I like to have them in a small amount. Small amounts preferred.
Really?
I think, yeah. Especially like the really intense ones that are like taste like you just ate a warhead. Is it the sourness or is it the vinegarness? Yeah, probably both.
Really?
Just the whole thing.
Like, do you not like Sour Patch Kids?
I like Sour Patch Kids. Like Warheads, that's pushing it. I'm in the corner drooling.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I haven't had anything so sour that I was like, oh, my tongue is splitting. You know, like we all know that one kid who put like 5 Warheads in his mouth and now he has like the cracks in his tongue. All of us know that one kid. Sutherland. Yeah, you right. Son of a bitch. You know I'm talking about you.
That's my brother-in-law. He's got the geographical tongue.
Yeah, it looks like the tectonic plates and his tongue shifting apart.
Dude,
so disgusting. And it never heals.
I don't know if that's what I thought it was a genetic thing. Like sometimes it happens.
Oh, is it genetic?
But maybe there's something that can cause it too.
All the people I knew who had it, one kid said he got it from an allergic reaction to an orange. I was like, okay, sour, acidic. And then the other kid, Sutherland, he got it because he's like, yeah, I put like 20 Warheads in my mouth and it literally like was acid in my mouth. And I was like,
I bet both of them didn't know they had it until then, because here the people who have a geographic tongue, there's certain flavors or sensory flavors that are more intense for them. So like specifically sour and I think spicy are like way more intense for people with a geographic tongue. Something about the surface area or something getting down in there. And so
getting down in the creeks.
Yeah. So like if you could flatten their tongue out, it would be like, the size of this whole like table.
That's
like,
so
like
disgusting.
grandma's card table.
That's an
That's
exaggeration.
how much
but
surface area is on the tongue. But I think they probably they never knew they had it until they experienced they had something like a warhead and it burned the hell out of them. And then they found out they had a geographic tongue.
I don't know. Sutherland always likes sour stuff, man.
Because when you just have your tongue, when they have their tongue normal, you can't tell until they bend it. Oh yeah. I have a picture that Is
this the same brother-in-law who need help pulling the shit out of his ass a couple weeks ago?
This is the same guy.
Same guy. You only got one, right?
I've got two brother-in-laws.
Yeah, okay, that's
they
what
both
I thought.
have the same. Excuse me. They both have the same name.
That's awesome.
And they're both different individuals. But
I'll tell you what, I love having a Bill. My Bill. I call him Bill because I have so many friends named Tom. But do you call one of your brother-in-laws Bill? Or do you, how do you distinguish them at family events?
Well, one has two names for his
yeah.
And then the other one has a nickname. And so sometimes we just go with the nickname.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You going to call one of them Bill? You probably can't do it because then they'd think you have a favorite, like an actual favorite brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to call them both Bill.
Yeah. I like them both. They're. I think that my brother-in-laws will be recurring characters in my stories here.
Yeah, I think mine too. As we get to know each other better. But anyways, sour beer. I'm a big fan. I remember when I first had sour beer. My first taste of sour beer was New Belgium's La Folie back in 2015. It was when I turned 21. And yeah, man, I loved it. I thought it was unlike anything I'd ever had before. I don't like wine that much. And there's this whole new world of beer brewed in wine caskets, wine barrels. And I thought the flavor was a full profile. And I think the reason I like sour beer so much is because I feel like it's a different taste on each part of my tongue. And sometimes you get an ale, an IPA, a porter, and it just seems like one taste, one flavor, especially with super hoppy IPAs. You're like, oh, I'm just literally chewing barley.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why I like sours a ton. I do know that they don't like me as much as I like them. I like to call it the sour gut. And when you have 3 or 4 sour beers, it messes with your gut, for sure. They're whatever bacteria is in this beer to make it the way it is, I think it's still in my it brews in your gut, it ferments in your belly, and it can be rough. But that said, Pat, you're a confessed sometimes sour guy, a picky sour guy.
Yep.
I'm a confessed sour lover. I love them all equally, even the nasty ones that I think taste just like vinegar. I'm like, whatever. I see a purpose for this beer. I would use it to possibly glaze a steak. One of my favorite things to do is put a little bit of red wine vinegar in the steak pan when it's cooking and get a little bit of a nice fond. Same with white wine. And I think sour beer is one of those things that you can use for a lot of different things. It has a lot of different flavor profiles. In fact, Odell on the Friek webpage, they have a recipe for using a Friek to make a salad summer vinaigrette. So they're about it. They know.
I could see this making a good salad dressing.
It is vinegary.
Yeah, that vinegar, and then raspberry, vinaigrette type thing. It'd make a good little fresh feeling, tangy salad dressing. I was looking up what might sour beers do to your gut. And this person says that Atlanta holds a sour beer festival with a Tum station in every room.
I believe that shit. Dude, I've done a couple tours. There's this brew house here where we live called Weldworks. They do a brewery tour, and you just drink like 6 different cups of sour beer. And it could be rough by the end of that tour. You're like, do I have to puke or do I have to shit?
Yep.
Beer is great, though. It's good beer.
To your point about your BMs or not, is it says the pH might mess with you, but the bacteria that makes that beer, that makes it sour, happens to be great probiotics. This
Hell
from Black Santa White Elves of Reddit 5 years ago. So,
all right. Thanks, Black Santa White Elves. Black Santa White Elves. That sounds like some
I don't know
reverse slavery stuff there. I don't know if that was a good username.
I don't know what to go. I opened the world of Reddit.
You can just close that.
I'm backing out.
Close it. Get out of here.
We're going to Wikipedia. Where
Elon
the real
doesn't own
facts
Reddit
lie.
yet. We can still get canceled.
This is true.
Anyways, well, I'm going to go into a little bit of history about Friek. I think it's supposed to be Friek. Before we give our reviews and thoughts on it. Pat, I want you to really give it a good swish around the teeth. You know, let it coat the teeth, get the back of the tongue, the underside of the tongue. Because I'm a firm believer in the 3 swish rule when it comes to sour beer. You can't judge a sour beer until you've taken 3 sips and swished them all around. Because the first sip of a sour I've always seen it kind of throw people for a loop. But by that third one, their tongue's warmed up and they're actually getting the real flavor of the beer. So
because they're usually ready for a Coors when you hear that noise, and that's not what this is.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if you're a peasant, then yeah, maybe that's what you're looking for, of course. Anyways, so Friek, the barrel-aged sour from Odell's, it's a 6.9%, and it is a raspberry cherry sour, which Odell's really likes their kind of French style brewing of the sours. So they call it a framboise, which is the raspberry sour ale, the tradition of brewing a raspberry sour ale, as well as the lambic kriek, which is the cherry sour ale. And so they kind of combine them to make this beer. And they combine framboise and kriek to make Friek, right? And it's seasonal for sure. It came out April through September of this year, 2022. It's aged in oak barrels. They love to mix in some fresh raspberries for the final part of the fermentation process. So that way there's a little bit more of a sweeter flavor from the raspberries to kind of balance out the tardiness. And I think I can definitely taste that a little bit. Main ingredients: hops, yeast, malts, raspberries, and cherries. I like to keep it simple. I know Odell is a big believer in I can't remember the rule. I think it's like the rule of like only 5 ingredients outside of water in a beer usually. That said, a little bit of background of Odell Brewery. They're one of my favorites. I remember they were one of the first places I had a beer on my 21st birthday. And I really enjoyed their brew house and really the like kind of style and hominess that they set up here in Fort Collins. So back in the 70s, they started out by working for the San Francisco Anchor Brewing Company and just being a scrubber. This was Doug Odell. And after his time with Anchor, moved to Seattle, continued to do homebrew and perfect some of his recipes. And then while honeymooning in the UK, him and his wife were inspired by a lot of the breweries they saw overseas. And they decided to really kind of take a stab at making it go commercial rather than just being a passion project in his basement. So they started building out things here in Fort Collins with their original brew house. And today they have a ton of, pretty well-known flavors. I would say they're international for sure. Maybe not international, but they're Pat, help me out, man. What's the term for across the country? But
it's they're. I wonder if they may be international, but
maybe they are international.
They're worldwide,
wide. Boats and hoes. But they're most well known for their golden ale and their 90 shilling. Those are kind of like their 2 really good go-tos. I would say I think they're better at IPAs than New Belgium. I think most of the IPA hogs I know love Odell's IPAs, like die hard. You know, they love, gosh, what's the one with the elephant on it?
It's just Odell's IPA, baby.
Yeah, great.
That's my maybe up there from my number one.
Number one IPA?
No.
Number one beer?
I know. I don't even know if we can. We shouldn't even talk about it yet.
Dude, Montucky's gonna cancel us.
Their
hazy IPA, the hazy tag.
Mm-hmm.
I do dig that one. We can bring that one on sometime
the hazer
soon.
tag.
It's a good IPA.
I'm gonna get that hazer out again. And if you listen to our last episode, which was the Halloween episode, we had a hazer in the room to set the mood.
Hate it.
There's I turned the heater on way too hot, and the haze. There's no vents in this room we're sitting in, and so the haze just sat thick, and it was supposed to, just be like smoke, like
ambient.
Just set the mood for the Halloween feel, and basically we just sat in a vape pen for an hour and a half.
I was wearing a cowboy costume reminiscent of the Cowboy Shane, and it's just like a buckskin shirt and pants, but they were made out of like velvet or corduroy. And holy shit, dude, I was passing out by the end of that podcast. So yeah. My big vote is no
hazer.
How about no
for the hazer tag? We might have to.
Okay, I'm bringing my own oxygen mask.
Maybe we'll have our if we get caught in this room at this time of day with gas masks on.
Whatever. Whatever, bro, dude. Literally on the way here, I'm pretty sure I saw someone getting out by we have a stretch of kind of tent town near these offices, and I was driving and there was someone leaning up against their car and someone else on their knees, and I think they were going at it, dog. I think they were just trying to stay warm out there in the cold.
I have seen those activities in this area before.
This is the only part of town I've ever seen that stuff in.
Yeah, well.
Anyways, I think they're more concerned about what's going on over there than they are about what we're doing in here.
I agree. So Odell's talking about my Odell's IPA might be one of my favorite beers, or the one. But Odell's in general is my favorite brewery.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, my favorite craft brewery.
Oh gosh,
are they still craft?
They are.
Like,
dude,
what's the different? Like,
they're still craft.
Like, because what's the you got? They're not microbrew anymore.
No,
right?
But I think like a craft brewery is still considered like they don't have shit, I don't know. Here's the way I kind of describe craft breweries is that like they make batches,
right?
And a majority of what they make is batches, and then they have like one or two staples that are like maybe mass produced. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of the way I think of like craft brewery.
Yeah,
brewery.
Yeah,
and wine. Craft wine, craft whiskey. I think of that like craft whiskey is like, hey, we got these, these barrels.
And that's all it's
that
ever
are flavored, and that's all there's going to be for the next like 20 years.
Yep. So Odell's way up there on my list, and this one, I like this sour. For my take it or leave it on the sours, I like this one. It's, they've got, say this one's part of their cellar series, aged in oak barrels. I don't think it's too intense. It's one of those ones. I feel like for me, any sour beer, the first sip, like you were saying, is a little intense on the first go, but then
make you pucker.
Yep. But then, and I think you have to. I don't know if you need to like approach a sour beer more like a glass of wine than a beer mentally.
Yeah.
Like the way that, at least for me.
Smoke break. Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution. I mean, I think that's totally fine to say. Like, I definitely don't approach a sour beer, especially a sour beer I haven't tasted.
Yeah, you're not like, Toby, throw me that sour.
No.
You know.
No. And it's not something that I'm going to, like, I don't just bring a sour beer to share on a camping trip, right?
Right.
Like, I bring Montucky, we're reaching out here, okay? But I bring cold snacks for the cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what all the people get to rub their dirty, grubby hands in the icebox over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these are held out in my kind of little private.
Do you have a private Yeti?
I do, but it's not a Yeti, but it is
Yep.
my private cooler that I keep my private beer in the car. Because I'm like, I'll be damned if the Bears get that.
Yep.
But yeah, so overall, anyways, thoughts on Friek. I like it. The guy, when I bought it, he really said it was his favorite sour he's ever had. I'll be honest, he struck me as a guy who's maybe had 3 sours just by the way he looked, his appearance. I imagine he's a big Montucky boy.
Mm-hmm.
I think a wild night out for him is when he gets like, some Coors Banquets and
that's the high end.
yeah, and like maybe like he gets like a
It's payday, Margaret.
Yeah, he gets like a Moscow Mule.
Yeah.
And like that's experimenting for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when he said it was his favorite sour, I was like, okay, well, we'll see about that. But I definitely think it is a good sour. Not my favorite. But I would say it's up there in overall pleasantness, in regard to like all the different tastes you get out of it. I do think the vinegary flavor, the raspberry vinegar, not raspberry, but like the red wine vinegar taste is a little too high for me.
Mm.
And I say that as someone who literally just tasted red wine vinegar the other day to make spaghetti.
Mm.
And that, like, I always taste my vinegar to make sure it's not too spoiled, because, vinegar actually just continues to get more sour. It doesn't really expire ever. It just gets more sour in your cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I taste it pretty frequently when I'm cooking. And this definitely is a strong, similar undertone. But I do taste the sweet raspberries. I think I taste almost like the bitters of the cherry. You know what I mean? It's like when you're eating a black cherry.
You kind of hit the pit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like I taste it. I'm not a huge cherry guy. So this was kind of a step out for me, because I kind of was going in like, I don't really know if I'm going to enjoy this one that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this. As far as general beer goes for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up, because if you showed up to my house with this, I'd be like one, it's like, I think it's like $16 for a 4-pack,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a limited run. So I'd be like, oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Like, especially if I was making you dinner, if I was making steaks or spaghetti,
Mm-hmm.
like real spaghetti, like family spaghetti.
Yep.
Or, if we were having just like a fancier meal, you and your wife were coming over, I'd be like, cool, great, good idea.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a game day beer. This is not a beer that I want to be drinking on the roof throwing the pigskin across the street to the other guys, and listening to the game on the radio. Like,
right.
not the beer I want for that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I think it's a good beer. It's not in everybody's
in our
beer.
official rating, a thumb.
I'm giving it one thumb from Mick.
Yep. So
It's up to you what you give it.
I wasn't sure if we were moving into the highly official
Oh yeah, this is official,
and
baby.
curated.
We can't go back on this.
Thumb system.
We can never go back and change
this is
the
the
review.
system. I just wasn't sure if you're using the general colloquialism of giving a thumbs up. Okay, we're in it. So, yeah, what I think is being a take it or leave it sour guy. If you're someone who doesn't like sours, or I'd say this, if you're someone who doesn't know if you like sours, like this is a good first one to try.
Yeah,
like it's not going to just scare you off of all of them.
I don't know. I think it scares someone off.
I think the people who are not going to like, I guess like it's
pretty acidic, man. Like when I take a sip out of it and I let it go, like if you take a sip and you swallow without swishing it much and it runs down your gullet, it's pretty acidic, man. You feel it on your uvula? What is that thing on the back of your throat?
Uvula.
Okay. I always get that in the labias mixed up.
Ooh, Cardi B calls it that dangly thing in the back of her throat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar. But
sorry. Total sidewinder there. But Pat struggles to sometimes, if I get him laughing, he struggles to get back.
I do. I had a thought and it just, there it goes.
We're talking about good first experience for someone who hasn't had a sour before.
Exactly. But to the acidity, I think that it's worth giving a shot. I'm also going to give it a 1 thumb.
So a total 2 out of 4 thumbs?
2 out of 4.
No thumbs down.
Yeah.
I think we got to remind viewers and listeners of this is that a bad beer can get 4 thumbs down.
Yeah.
And so when we say, when we say a beer gets 2 thumbs, 1 from each of us, that's essentially like a 6 out of 8. That's a good score, man.
Yep.
That's better than most beers.
And are we doing just 0 thumbs?
I think 0 thumbs is like we're not willing to give it a thumbs down.
It's just is what it is.
It is what it is, man. Yeah. So I think I think this is a pretty good beer and I enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the second one we open up for this god awful thing that someone decided to call it a movie. But we're getting into Morbius now, and I'll be honest, Pat, I hate you for it. I don't hate you, but
yeah, I've seen better. I don't know if I can say I've seen much worse.
It takes talent to make a movie that I watched on a Saturday afternoon, completely sober, and I felt like I blacked out. Like I have almost no recollection of this movie. That's how forgettable it is. To its credit, it's not bad enough that I remember it being bad.
Right.
But it is bad enough that I just honestly, I think my brain just said, we got to make more room for more important things today. And I don't have much memory of it. One thing I do remember, and I'm happy I remember this, Matt Smith dancing shirtless to the song Have Sex. Never heard that song before. Literally, that song is just straight up an anthem trying to program the audience to have sex. And it just is going over and over. Have sex while Matt Smith is dancing like a man who has never walked before.
Mm-hmm.
Like a closeted rich nerd man who's never walked before. And I gotta say, I love it, man. I love Matt Smith. Great actor. Totally underutilized in this movie. And that one scene is the one thing I really enjoyed about the movie because I was laughing my ass off.
What else has Matt Smith been in?
Well, he was just in House of the Dragon and crushed it. He was perhaps everyone's favorite character of the show. He was in Doctor Who, and he did a good Doctor Who job. I never watched Doctor Who, but the Whovians who are in my life tell me he did a great job.
Because is Is he the brother in House of Dragons?
He is Daemon Targaryen in the House of the Dragon, brother to Viserys Targaryen, and Viserys Targaryen is the king in the show.
Okay, because I've seen the first episode of that. So he's the brother. Okay, yeah, I recognize him now.
And I think like he was the best part of the movie. I'll be honest. I'm gonna say it. He was the best part, and you could tell he was just like, I'm just here for the paycheck at this point. Like this movie, he knew this movie was gonna suck.
In general, there it is. There's the sound bite for you. This movie, it's hard in general with like Marvel movies or Marvel characters. In this whole universe and the multiple universes they have now, to like, even when a new Thor movie comes out, I kind of don't care anymore.
Oh, dude, I didn't care as soon as I saw the trailer for this new Thor movie. I still haven't seen it because I knew nothing's going to be better than Thor Ragnarok, and nothing's going to be, I mean, like, the best thing that could be was Fat Thor. We got that, dude. We got fat couch gamer Thor.
Hang it up after that.
And they knew they couldn't even make a full movie of that. Like, they knew that bit was only going to last so long, and it could only be like really 10 minutes of an actual movie.
Yeah.
And after Endgame, I was like, where's Marvel going from here? And I think the same thing could be said for Sony. Won't spoil anything from No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. But that movie was so climactic. That was that's the way you do a movie.
The culmination.
Yeah, that's the way you do like a culmination movie for a series of comic movies post Endgame. Like, I don't think there's been another movie as well done comic book wise as No Way Home. And man, the truth is like Morbius, it wasn't as bad as a lot of people told me it was, but it was one of those movies that I think had it come out with like the OG Tobey Maguire movies, like if this had come out in like 2004, I think it would have crushed it. I think it would have been a movie that everyone went to go see with their kids. It would have been a little scary, and some people were like, oh gosh, is my kid old enough to watch this? Was he old enough to watch Green Goblin die at the end of, the first Spider-Man?
I wasn't. That was impactful.
Yeah, that wrecked me as a kid, dude. I was like, oh my gosh.
Quick side note, it's funny because those movies got roasted by a lot of people. Tobey Maguire ones.
Well, there's Sam Raimi, and Sam Raimi's a horror director.
But I was little, and I loved those Spider-Man movies.
Oh, I still love the first and second one. The first and second one hold up in my opinion.
Yeah.
The third one was dog shit.
Yep.
But the first and second one, especially like the scene in the second Spider-Man movie, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, where Doc Ock sacrifices himself to essentially stop his invented son from destroying New York. Like that scene I remember stuck with me as a kid, and I was like, dude, not all the villains are bad dudes.
That's how he becomes bad. Right.
No, that's how he redeems himself, because he was a bad guy for most of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, he kind of has this moment of clarity, and he stops the sun from basically destroying all of, I mean, I think it would have just destroyed Earth eventually. Yeah. But anyways, Morbius feels like a movie that should have come out then, not now. And it is a COVID victim movie, right? It's a movie that made and was supposed to be released in 2020, but because of COVID, it just got put on a shelf. It's film reel. I just imagine like someone put like white tape over the film reel box, labeled it Morbius. Let's be real, it's filmed digitally, so they put it over the thumb drive and they put it on a shelf, and then someone was walking around there and was like, oh, what? No, Morbius. Well, maybe we.
Well, here's the thing too. It was such an unknown time, but at the same time, they kind of get what they deserve. The money grabbers, because one, the Marvel comics have so many characters. You can just keep making movies forever. There's so many characters that haven't even been remotely touched in the Marvel comic universe.
Still waiting for a good Fantastic Four movie.
Oh God! And so as much as it's in some aspects becoming all greed driven, just pump out these movies that just make shitloads of money. They got what they deserve because they held it back from they wanted a movie theater release and they wanted box office sales, all this stuff. And if in 2020 is hindsight, but I bet in some aspects, even as bad as the movie was, if they'd released it when it was supposed to be released on streaming platforms, they had Disney Plus by then.
Yeah.
Just that alone, they could probably have made more movies by riding the wave of people sitting at home on their couches streaming movies. It's all anybody did for why not take this movie and just push, I guess it wouldn't, this one's not on Disney Plus because of
Sony.
It's Sony, not
Sony,
Marvel,
Sony,
the confusing
Disney,
and but whatever, it ended up on Netflix, but put it on a streaming service. This was maybe Sony's chance to launch a streaming service.
This movie? Come on, Pat.
No. As a lost lead.
Oh.
Get people to subscribe to see it because they'll give it a chance and then whatever but they probably would have came out just the same, and so I feel like they held it similarly to one of the last movies we reviewed, Top Gun Maverick. That's a movie worth holding, and in some ways it was worth holding for the fans' sake. And then another.
You're talking about Morbius?
No.
Oh, Top Gun.
Top Gun. They held it because Top Gun and Morbius would have came out at the exact same time.
Yeah. 2020.
But totally different outcomes because of how crappy one was compared to one. Top Gun could have been a really crappy movie, and it still would have performed really well initially because of just the fan following. Who's not going to go see Top Gun again? Whereas Morbius, it's like. I didn't even know what Morbius was. I thought when I saw the trailer for Morbius, I didn't know it was a Marvel movie. I thought it was just a weird Jared Leto vampire movie.
See, I knew Morbius was a vampire guy, and I knew that there were some comic book people. I can't say comic book friends because I don't really think I have anyone who loves comic books that much anymore. But I knew of people, acquaintances who were going to go out of their way to 100% see this movie. And they were excited about it. And I'll be honest, as someone who only knows tangentially a little bit about Morbius, I know he's a villain. I know they were kind of making him to build out the villain-ish group for Sony movies. So there's the Venom movie.
And what's the group called?
I don't know. I think it's the Sinister Six is what fights Spider-Man, and it's but they kind of already did the Sinister Six in No Way Home. You know what I mean? They kind of used it. Anyways, I was also excited because I was hoping that, fingers crossed, praying that this movie was going to be rated R and it was going to have Blade in it. I was really hoping Blade would be in it because Blade was I genuinely think Blade and X-Men 2 were the first comic book movies I saw as a kid.
Yeah.
Dude, and X-Men 2 is badass. That's a good movie. And Blade, those movies were kind of cheesy, but they were badass as hell, dude. And they were violent. And that was when they give you $80 million to make this movie. They're like, we're going to give you 30 mil. We don't think this is going to make any money, so do whatever the you want. And someone's like, all right, well, it's Blade. And so we're going to make it rated R and people are going to swear and there's going to be blood everywhere. And I was like, and I remember seeing those movies. I loved it. I thought they were entertaining as hell. I didn't think they were horrifying, but they definitely scared me a little bit as a kid. And the video games were badass. And I thought with Morbius, they were going to bring back Blade. I thought we were going to see, someone kind of, pick up Wesley Snipes' where he left it off. Because it's clear that the way the movie is depicted, this isn't the first vampire, right? Even the FBI is that's what these bloodsuckers, he doesn't say because it's PG-13. He's like, that's what these bloodsuckers do. You have one of them and then they breed like crazy. And I was like, okay, well, so the FBI is not oh, a real life vampire? We're like, I don't know, vampires, they exist. So, anyways, for those of you who don't know, Morbius, you're not missing out on much. But we are talking spoilers here. It is about a comic book character, Michael Morbius. Wow. What a name.
Eminem.
And he's got this rare blood disease that is not real. And him and his buddy, played by Matt Smith, grew up in a orphanage home where both of these people had disease. I don't know if it's an orphanage or if like their parents just dropped them off there and hoping they'd have better lives. But it's essentially like a charity home where Jared Harris, who is a phenomenal actor, totally underutilized in this film. I don't think they could afford him. That's why he only had like 5 minutes on screen. But he apparently he's taking care of them. And Jared Leto and Matt Smith's characters were up to be wealthy, kind of biochemists, and they're using all the money that they're making from making different drugs and stuff to try to find a cure to this disease. And for some reason, it is the saliva of vampire bats that helps stop blood clots. But I don't really think blood clots is the issue of their disease because it seems to have a lot of spinal and nerve issue stuff. So,
which it's funny because that's where like comic book world runs into like the modern movie critic world, where it's funny how in shows and movies now, like, it's like anybody's like, oh, the Taliban would never have an MP5. It's like, well, yeah, and like we all notice that stuff.
Now they do because we left it there.
Oh yeah. But like that's sort of you like nowadays we notice that stuff, like all these little things are like, oh, that's not realistic. And it's I do love the things about the comic world where it's just like it's cut and dry. They have a blood disease and then blood fixes it. It's like that's fine. Like the vampire bat thing is like kind of fine to be for the comic. It
wasn't egregious except for the part where he was like, they're able to take down prey 10 times their size. I'm like,
that's where
I've never seen a vampire bat kill anything.
Exactly. That's where they don't. Vampire bats they
latch and drink and then they leave, right?
Yeah, like cows and horses and stuff are fine.
There's like the corpse of an animal outside the cave. I'm like, you mean you're trying to tell me a bunch of the little tiny bats picked that thing up and flew it over here?
Right. So that's the part where it's like that's a big miss. No, the modern audience where we can accept like
I'm not that dumb.
We can accept unnamed disease, a blue bag of blood that's synthetic.
I need to be more drunk before you start trying to pull those things, right?
Yeah. But you got to know the modern audience and the vampire bat thing in general. Besides at the end, we'll just skip right to the end of the movie. The vampire bats do the Batman thing. So leave that alone. He like calls on them all. It's like, just leave that alone. Like you can't.
They literally push a guy up into the air against a wall.
Yeah. Who, by the way, is also a vampire. So
why doesn't he have the control of the
bats? They would
bats?
like him to. Yeah. So it's just so stupid. But also like, I wonder if the people making this movie were like, oh, Marvel characters beat DC now so bad we can just steal Batman stuff. It's like, it was so Batman reminiscent, like the bats. Like, just leave that alone. Leave it alone. Play on vampire lore. Don't go try to go into Batman world because Batman will beat Morbius every day. In this, like, in the
fandom of excitement.
In the fandom of excitement. Exactly. It's like, what are you doing? And then also, here's the deal.
I'm not going to go watch a movie of teenage Morbius.
All right. How about you make us, one, hate the bad guy more?
I was rooting for him.
Yeah. And give us a reason why Morbius is bad. Because he's supposed to be a villain in the end.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason for him to ever turn bad besides the fact that like he gets uncontrollable, which
he throughout the whole movie is like, I refuse to kill the humans for blood. I'm like, how is he going to be a bad guy again? How are they going to make him a bad guy?
In the Marvel comics, basically he's like a tortured soul. He is kind of like Hulk.
Oh, that's why Jared Leto picked him.
Yes,
that's why Jared Leto.
We can get into him later. God. But the funny thing is, Jared Leto was the best part of the movie in some sense of like, I was refreshed that he wasn't just like, okay, one, I love 30 Seconds to Mars.
Really? You love them?
I love their hits. Is that fair? Can I say I love their hits?
I didn't mind it when my friends played it in the car, but like I was never going to spend money on their stuff on iTunes as a kid.
It makes me, I think some of their hit songs are like engaging, and one, I love that. Here's the deal. Let me use the word nostalgic.
If your song is used in an Owl movie, I'm out, dog.
Dude, I love that song so much.
That song sucks balls. After I saw it as in the trailer for the Owl movie, I was like, I'm out.
No,
It's
dude.
a kid song.
Oh my god,
So
no,
childish.
Dude, no. That song. The Guardians of Ga'Hoole, I never saw it, but that trailer got me so pumped when I saw it because of the song, and then I never watched the movie.
No. It's a big no from me, dog.
All right, Camden Country. This is where we agree to disagree.
Anyways, continue on.
You know.
Jared Leto. Best part of the movie because
Well, I think
that's what your opinion is.
I did say best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I kind of
Dude, I think that's the best part of the movie,
yeah,
dog.
should I try to finish this all the way through, or should I walk it back?
I'd walk it back. I'd walk it back, man.
I want to say this about it. Like, all the other movies he's been in, I'll say best part, not meaning I enjoyed it so much, meaning like he didn't do anything wrong to make this movie shitty. Is that fair? I feel like it was writing and the poor execution of character development, the poor execution of story arc and all these things that made it a bad movie. I feel like the movie had potential, and I feel like it wasn't like, oh, this movie sucks because Jared Leto did such a horrible job in it.
No, yeah, it wasn't because the lead let the film down.
Right, so that's all I have to say. Like that's
I'll be
what
honest,
that's
though,
what I mean about that.
It did feel like Jared Leto, of all the things I've seen him in, was sleepwalking in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it never, like, I don't think his expression changed once. I think it was always, just eyes wide open, eyebrows up, and just like kind of smiles. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not like, I don't think I can say this movie failed because of Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's 100% the writing and just like, it just,
Maybe the editing.
the editing
'Cause it
for
seems
sure
like- it
was
seems
kind of
like it was-
jarring.
Because it seems the movie was like an hour and
I thought the CG was
40.
fine.
The CG, I think the CG was.
It might have been, I might have noticed a flaw in it if it was on like a movie theater screen,
Mhm.
but on my, like, I think I have like a 50-inch or 55-inch at home. Watching it, like, I was like, I didn't really see anything that was like glaring bad CGI. I thought the face transitions were pretty smooth.
Those were surprisingly so.
Those were like really smooth in my opinion.
I was sitting there because what's the movie Werewolf, or where it's an old
Which one?
It's
Like,
like, it's
like
no the
12.
like the first like it's like it's a werewolf movie from like the 80s.
Oh, are you talking about An American Werewolf in London with
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone? Because that has the best creature effect werewolf transition I've ever seen.
Because I don't know the exact number, but something crazy like they shot it for like 2 weeks or 2 months because they had to basically stop motion
Yeah.
every hair and everything in
Yeah.
it. So that's what like
And it paid off because that movie is remembered
Mhm.
that way.
so like I was sitting there going like thinking to myself like it's such bullshit that like they didn't have that ability back then
Yeah.
with the passion to make such a good movie now.
Mm-hmm.
Because this Morbius would have never been made back then with passionless people who were just after a money grab for another thing. With that old movie, they had to painstakingly put every single hair in for that effect. And so I think the special effects weren't bad. They were really good quality, but they were crutches.
VFX.
Yeah, the VFX,
CGI,
the CGI VFX for the movie were used as crutches for the fight scenes.
Yeah, I think that I do believe you. I think that like weird smokiness CGI in a person. Because like person CGI, human CGI still sucks. Like,
And it's expensive.
it's expensive, and here's the thing is like you see the movie Avatar, right? And you're like, damn, Mia Leakey or whatever her name is like, she's smoking hot. I'm kind of into tall blue people now, but the reason that CGI doesn't look weird is because it's not like human proportions and human faces, right? It's just
a creature. It's a humanoid creature.
Yeah, it's just close enough that you're like, yeah, I think that's probably what they would look like and walk like, and what their faces look like when they, talk on the corners of their mouth and stuff. Person CGI still sucks, dude. Like, that's why when you watch, like, I think like the most glaringly obvious culprit is the new Terminator movies, where they like just CGI shop Arnold into some kind of fight scene, and it's really not Arnold. And you're just like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
that looks like a bad CGI attempt at a wax model of Arnold Schwarzenegger, de-aged, and like it moves around so rubbery but also liquidy that you're like, that's not how a human moves. That's not like the way a body moves and like the speed it moves at. There's something off and sludgy about it. And I think like the smoky wisp in this movie were to like cover that up and make you not feel like it's as glaringly rubbery, or I kind of think I like to call it Gumby, you know, like, because the way they're running around and fighting, it's like cats, you know, they fight like cats, like they stretch their arms out and claws out and they roll and toss and hiss and land on all fours.
Yep. And here's one little fun fact, if you're for the Marvel comic fans out there, or if you're not, here's the fact. The Morbius, his disease, or when he transforms into his monster self, his bones, they don't talk about this in the movie, this is just comic book stuff. His bones became hollow as a part of this, which then allowed him,
like a bat,
to float on air currents that gave the appearance of flying.
Like a bat.
Yep. So
just kidding, bats actually fly.
Yeah. So, but because after watching the air wispy things too, like it was out of the blue when they're in the subway
and he starts flying.
He just like his eyes get all big and he's just like,
I can fly.
Yeah. Now he's just flying. And you're like, what the hell is this? He's like,
I can fly.
Yeah. He's like,
and then like that 30-second Samar song plays.
He can fly. Oh my gosh.
I wish they would have done that, dude. That would have been so self-aware of the director to be like, I know this movie sucks. Put that song in, Jared Leto.
Just steer into the skid.
Yeah.
Steer into the skid, boys.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
But that might be why the wisps were there too, because technically he's supposed to be riding the air currents.
Sure. And how do you draw air? You don't.
No.
You draw it with 3 lines kind of looking wavy.
Like a fart.
Anyways, for me, Adria Arjona, she played Martine. Damn, sorry, sister. I know you were trying to be a good actress and like, you know, do a good job. Wasted on this movie. I don't think she was bad, but like she just couldn't do anything to fix this movie, you know, like, and I could tell she was trying to act serious and stuff like that, but like when she's like, she wakes up out of her coma and essentially realizes like Jared Leto has murdered already like over a dozen people. She's like, that's all right, I still love you. I'm just like, okay, like, sister, like, I know that's a script, but you can't sell it. Tyrese Gibson, when he showed up, I just wanted him to be like, you know what vampires need? They need family, dog.
The detective.
Yeah, from Fast and Furious, right?
Dude, the movie should have been about the detectives.
Yeah, they were way more entertaining.
They were the best thing.
And I thought their chemistry was better than anything else.
Yep, and from her Martine, is that her name in the movie?
Martine, yeah.
Martine, yeah. So that actress, do you know where she drew her inspiration from for the character?
The Latin woman in Predator. Because she should have. That would have been better.
No, a way more inspirational, highly intelligent motivator and leader of the people.
Yes, Kanye West.
Legit, she said she was drawing her inspiration from AOC.
I'm not going to be political, but AOC is not someone you want to channel in a movie. I mean, one, regardless of what you think her politics are or whatever like that, I don't care. Bad actor, right? Like when she was like, we literally died. I died on the day of January 6th. I'm like, okay, like, come on. Just say it was scary and you were scared for your life.
And you were 14.
That would have been fine.
And you were 14 and a half blocks away from the incident.
Yeah. But like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, the worst thing to watch is politicians trying to act. And honestly, kind of what I think Adria Arjona did. It was kind of watching a politician act. Like, it just wasn't good.
I think she did what she wanted.
Yeah.
So there it was.
You can, I can tell Matt Smith was sleeping. Like, he was having as much fun as he possibly could with this movie because he probably realized no one was going to watch it. It's kind of funny because he gets interviewed at one point for House of the Dragon. And someone was like, yeah, the fans of that movie of Morbius, and like under his breath, he's like, there's fans for that movie. Like Matt Smith was having a baller time, and he's the only thing I enjoyed watching in the movie. I'll be honest, like him and hoping there was more of the detectives interacting was the only thing I really enjoyed. But Morbius, it's a stinker, dog. I'm gonna give it. Here's the thing: I can't give it 2 thumbs down because I didn't hate it, and I know so many people that did. And I know the way I feel about the movie is not nearly as visceral as the way as they do. I'll be honest. If you give me an option between watching Morbius or Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that Disney Plus series, or She-Hulk or Hawkeye, you know, some of these kind of big stinkers on Disney Plus that are comic movies, I'd pick Morbius. I would. I'd pick Morbius over watching those series simply because it's shorter and it means less suffering. But it's about as good as that. Like if you watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is exactly the stuff I want to spend my time watching. When I could be watching anything in the modern day of streaming, this is what I want to watch. Hey, watch Morbius. You probably like it. You probably enjoy it. If you were trying to kill time, watch Predator again. It will be a better use of your time. Watch any classic. Watch The Shawshank Redemption. It'll go by faster because you'll be really enjoying it, and you'll walk away like, damn, that was a good ass movie. What are your thoughts, man? I can't give it 2 thumbs down, but I'm definitely gonna give it like a thumbs down. I'm gonna give it 1 thumb down.
Yeah, it's you know what movie I would pick over this one?
Anything else? Anything else?
Guardians of Ghoul. So that I can listen to that song.
I pick Aragon.
When I coming to you soon, a review. Don't waste your time with it, and enjoy the memes that came from it. Yeah, that's the greatest gift it gave the world.
I'll give you you've probably seen these movies. If not, that's all right. But and by you, I mean, you know, the plural you. Safe House, also directed by Daniel Espinosa. That was that movie in 2012 with Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington. That was an absolute stinker. Guess what else he did? Life, also total waste of talent with Ryan Reynolds and what's his name? I feel so bad because I love him as an actor. Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson, who, you know, she's just phenomenal in almost anything she's in. Stinker movie. The other stuff he's directed I haven't seen. Seems like a good amount of foreign films. But yeah, like this guy just kind of directs like movies that like you can't say are like god awful, but you're just like, dude, that was such a boring movie, and I'm disappointed because the trailer made it look way cooler.
Like, I'm not saying I could do your job, but
I could do his job, dude. Why, I'm saying I could.
But why is this guy getting these big? Who's his uncle?
It's like the new thing that Marvel does, dude. Marvel just gives like, or not. I guess it's not. We can't blame Marvel. We can't blame Marvel. I think here's the thing. I think Sony is coked up off of Spider-Man Into the Multiverse and how well they did that without Marvel, and it was such a huge success. We'll review that one eventually too, because that's a great movie that was straight to streaming. And as well as like, you know, the success they've had off of the latest Spider-Man franchise in partnership with Marvel. I think they're coked up, dude, and they think like they can just make something and people will go watch it and they'll make a shitload of money off of it. This movie barely made its money back, you know, and like domestically it didn't. It didn't make its money back domestically. It had to rely on international grossing to make its money back.
Like in 10 years, he directed 4 movies.
That's because he was waiting for the right films.
People out there, give me a call. Give Mick and Pat a call.
Yeah, so for real, I'll take like $60,000 as salary.
Yeah, like
just give me a good blank check to make a cool movie.
We will literally take a 10th
Dead
or
Space movie.
You know, whatever.
Dead Space movie's coming out. I've been wanting to make a Dead Space movie forever.
And it's also, here's the deal about stories. It's so easy.
I mean, dude, all you have to do is go give $1,000 to a good script from some film student, right? You just go to like a film school and just start reading the script submitted with like, you know, someone who's in the writing class, right? Like the professor of the writing class. And then you find when you offer a student like, hey, we'd buy this off you, like script writer, college student, I'll take $5,000. Boom. And movie made.
Yeah, and so anybody who actually makes movies is gonna be like, these guys don't
anyone
know
listening
anything.
to Rasmussen out there is like, these people don't know shit, dude. I'm gonna have to go in there and slap these boys upside the head.
Oh, they're gonna make a movie with him. But the
Jordan out there.
Okay, here's
so mad. We know our 3 listeners.
Yeah, no kidding. But the freaking stop trying to here's the hard thing. Every story's already been done.
Nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes, baby.
Yeah, and so like give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Just do it again, but do it right. And don't try to make it.
Dude, that's exactly what I say for the Jurassic World franchise. You know what people liked about Jurassic Park? Do that shit again. If you're going to remake it, don't be making it all like comedic and jokey hokey.
And that's a side note. People, stop making movies with your little Marvel comic relief in it.
It's not, it doesn't work for everything.
We'll get into that in future reviews.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of someone who got convinced to do this movie, and it just sucks that they did. Matt Smith, he joined this film after like turning down tons of superhero film roles. I think he was originally supposed to be Doctor Who over Benedict Cumberbatch, which I mean, not Doctor Who, Doctor Strange, which I would have preferred. Like Benedict Cumberbatch, don't get me wrong, dog. You're great out there. I know I know you're our 3rd listener, Benedict, and I want you to know I think you crush it. And
but just go give us
movies.
more. Here's the deal.
But dude, you're so bored in Doctor Strange.
Just give us Sherlock. All we want is Sherlock.
I love Sherlock.
Give
dude.
me more Sherlock.
Sherlock was my favorite nap show. I turn it on like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, take a nap. But anyways, so Matt Smith was convinced by the actress who played Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Karen Gillan. She was his co-star in Doctor Who when he was on it, and she said, "Hey, Matt, really just give this one a chance. You know, it's not a Marvel movie, it's a Sony movie." And Matt was like, "Fine, I'll do Morbius as the villain." Oh, dude, sucks to suck, dude. I mean, at what point do you open your hand and realize you have the short straw?
Right.
Like, when does that happen, and when does that set in?
He's like starting to border on like the Will Smith Neo dilemma. Which one to work the same way, but like,
oh, dude, Will Smith as Neo would have been ass.
It would have been ass, but like he turned that down for Wild Wild West.
Also ass.
Which I enjoy it for just what it is.
I'll be honest. I think Keanu Reeves in Wild Wild West would have made a better movie. The biggest issue I have with Wild Wild West was that it was trying to be my
rap song.
Wild Wild West.
Yep.
Wild Wild West. Dude, Will Smith rap career. It's comedy, dude. All of his rap songs are supposed to be funny. Like they're never supposed to be serious, like actual real life shit.
I think it's great.
My favorite one was when he did like a rap song. It's like Nightmare on something street, and it's literally about like Freddy Krueger chasing him, and it was so funny, like 5th grade funny. I don't think I've listened to that song since 5th grade, but anyways, other kind of trivia things. This is my favorite one. The film was released on April Fool's Day, 2022. Came out April Fool's Day. Everyone thought like, wait, is that for real? Came out, bombed so hard that people just start using it as meme material, right? Universal meme material. You don't even need to see the movie to kind of get the jokes. It's Morbin Time. It's Morbin Time wasn't even actually a line in the movie, but it's what everyone memes about being in the movie, right? And the classic line of everyone being like, Morbius is one of the films of all time. You know, like those like super like generically epic lines.
One of the films.
It is. I have to say that Jared Leto gave one of the performances of the year.
Yep.
Right. Like, and so, but anyways, all those memes made Sony, and God bless them.
Mm-hmm.
Bless their heart. Bless their heart, Pat. Bless their heart, because they're a Japanese company. And
they mistranslated it.
They got mistranslated, dog. Bless their heart, man, because they see all the memes in America and in the UK and in Europe and stuff, and they're just like, oh, they really liked our movie. Perhaps we release it again. And they just straight up released it June 1st, 2022, because like, clearly fans want to watch it again. The movie made, on average, $289 per theater it was released in. You know what that is?
It's what you pay the two people who are selling tickets at the front counter.
That doesn't cover the wages of the staff that had to work for the duration of this movie. $289 where we live. A movie ticket is going to cost you, without a doubt, probably $20 most of the time, if it's not matinee. And $20 going into, you know, we'll round up 290.
23 people.
Yeah, like, I mean, not even. It's like 14 and a half, right? Someone went on a Tuesday night for $5. Like, it's sad, dog. It's real sad. So anyways, I mean, it got what it got. And it got what it deserved. Another trivia thing here. Jared Leto, you know, world-renowned method actor. World-renowned method actor.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, you know.
And pervert.
Jared Leto committed to capturing Michael Morbius' limping state and used crutches even off camera. This provided to be troublesome for the crew. No shit. It's a film crew. How many cords are all over the place? At times when the actor reportedly took 45-minute treks to the bathroom, pushing him in a wheelchair was a loophole solution around these days. Can you imagine, dog? Can you imagine being like a producer and you just realize money is time on this movie set?
I would instantly be like, you, PA, you are the wheelchair guy. You wheel him to the dump house immediately.
Listen, if you go find me a wheelchair in the next 10 minutes before he gets back from waddling to the bathroom pretending to be Walt's son from Breaking Bad, I will literally give you a producer role in the next film I produce. Okay, I'm talking $100,000, kid.
Or also for a PA, they're like, have you ever seen $1,000 cash?
Yeah,
go get that wheelchair.
Get that wheelchair. Yeah, dude. Jared, if you're gonna method act, dog,
he's a weird little asswipe. Here's the deal about Jared Leto. Okay, dude.
Oh man, dude.
Okay,
Pat's fired up, dude. Pat's been waiting all night to get on
so
this.
He, as much as I do enjoy 30 Seconds to Mars hits, and I like to listen to those nostalgically, Jared Leto is a little pain in the ass. I watched the 30 Seconds to Mars documentary. He's just a little bitch the whole time, and he's just such a complaining. I couldn't imagine being in a band with this guy. He like thinks he's Freddie Mercury. He thinks he should like do like 487 takes for every song he sings, and then he's like he thinks he can be an actor, so he gets into these acting roles. And he's in the worst DC movie of all time and the worst Marvel movie of all time.
This is not the worst Marvel movie of all time.
Well, you have Hulk, but still. But still, like he's involved in the worst.
My boy agreed like that.
And so during the people know this who've followed his stuff, but during filming for Suicide Squad, he sent dead animals in boxes to like his co-hosts and stuff as a part of his method acting.
Dog, commit and start doing drugs, dude. Heath Ledger laid it out for you.
If you're gonna. Yeah, exactly. And these guys keep trying to up Heath Ledger's performance. Just stop doing it. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. And so
the newest Batman movie, they did like a audience screening of a trailer that had their version of the Joker in it, and they just accepted that. Best part of the movie, like best thing they could do is not have that in the movie at all.
Was it Jared Leto as the Joker in it?
No, it was just like some guy. I don't even think you could tell who the actor was. Like, because it was all very blurry and it was supposed to be very elusive as a trailer.
Explore other characters. Heath Ledger nailed that one. But Jared Leto, and then here's the deal. Also, he has so many accusations of stuff towards minors female minors. It's just like, bro, like you're unstable. You're not that good of an actor. You have so much money. Just go
boat for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he spent it like Nick Cage. Nick Cage made so much money, but he spent it all on cars and dinosaur bones. I love Nick Cage so much, dude. I would do anything for that guy. Like if Nick Cage wrote me a letter and was like, "Hey, I really need you to go and get like this Amazon card and like put $500 on it, and then like you're gonna read me it and then give me the information to your bank account." I'd be like, "Dude, whatever you want, dog." But yeah, no, I think like one thing I remember Jared Leto being, and I actually like got excited. I was like, "Whoa, Jared Leto! I didn't know he could act." Was when he was with Nick Cage in the movie. What is it? Dramatized biopic of like the dude who was an arms dealer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like essentially like the U.S. government enabled him to be an arms dealer because it was profitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jared Leto's in the movie. I think he did a great job actually in it. I thought he was really well done. Made me empathize for him as the younger brother.
Yep. For you weird ass Jared Leto fans out there, he'll be coming up in a announced movie called The Joker, and another one called Haunted Mansion. So look out for those. They're gonna be caca, pee pee, poo poo.
I gave it a thumb down. What do you give it?
That's a big, it's just like. I didn't
have anything better to say. You did a great job.
I won't even give it a thumb down because it's just like,
dog.
No, because it's just nothing. It's just it's just dust in the wind.
Yeah.
Nothingness. Just nothingness. So,
damn.
Yeah.
Well, I think with that, what's crazy, Pat, is that you're right. Perhaps the only media in relation to Morbius someone consumes is this podcast. And with that, I hope they understand what we went through.
4,000 years from now, this is a message to you.
The Glebe Glocks. Like, damn, that shit really fucking sucked. Those guys really must have hated it. Anyways, it's one thumbs down here at Mick and Pat Show for Morbius. No thumbs up. So we hope we saved you time. I hope one of you out there, one of our kin, absolutely is just in love with this movie. I hope one of you loves this movie so much that you are like fuming right now and like, man, they did it. And I'll read it out loud here. I'll bleep out your name if you want. But that's the kind of interaction we want with y'all. We want you to know that you can speak freely here and let us know if you just think we totally missed the mark on
this
something.
This podcast has been as long as the movie Morbius.
Yeah, honestly. And half of it was on beer.
Yeah, but we hope more entertaining.
Check out the schedule so that way you know what beer to have ready for the next movie. And with that, thanks for joining us, Ken.
Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.